Well guys, it's finally here. The #1 most voted upon anime for me to review for Bullshit Month. And what do I think of it? Where do I stand? What is my life-altering, life-changing opinions on this anime? Well, I thought it was freaking... The Black Critic Guy here today to give you my much anticipated review on the anime The Asterisk War Seasons 1 and 2. Now the Asterisk War begins with a brief introduction to this world describing an apocalyptic event that occurred in the 20th century and the aftermath that it brought. And a majority of the story takes place in the city of Rika, also known as Asterisk because, I mean, just look at the way that it's structured. Look at how it looks. It looks like a freaking asterisk. And it has these 6 academies, those little small islands you see right there, those are all different academies. They have 6 academies consisting of humans with supernatural abilities known as Gene Stella who duke it out in these tournaments known as festas. Whew, man, it felt like I was taking like a history class or something. I felt like I just needed like my notebook and I needed to like jot all this notes down, like festas, Gene Stellas, oh, so much information. And from here we follow Ayato Amagiri, a young Gene Stella who starts attending one of the academies in order to investigate the disappearance of his big sister as well as the trials and tribulations he faces regularly with various people, particularly those of the female persuasion. Oh yeah. Now, as I briefly mentioned in my intro, this was definitively the most requested anime for me to watch and review for Bullshit Month. 251 of you apparently hated this anime so much that you wanted me to watch it and tear it a new asshole. Just rip it to shreds, like just completely decimate it. But after I announced the winners of the poll, a small group of you in the comment section came to Asterisk War's defense, saying that it isn't as bad as people are making it out to be. It was just really overhyped and people had high expectations for it and probably hated the light novel adaptation. So I should go in with an open mind. I shouldn't just go in automatically just hating it. And I hear what they're saying, and I also hear what the haters are saying, so I was very conflicted when going into this anime. I had no idea what to expect. Not to mention the fact that I've never even heard of this anime to begin with, so I was going in completely blind, with no real biases towards the anime. And I just want to state right here, right now, that this is just my opinions on the Asterisk War. You may agree with it, you may disagree with it, but let's just be very fair to each other and let's be civil, alright? Good? Alright, so I finished the anime, both seasons 1 and 2, so I did see the entirety of the series so far, and what did I think about it? Well, let's get into it. Now, regardless of whether you love or hate this anime, no one can deny that the Asterisk War has some spectacular and amazing animation and visuals. The visuals and background are gorgeous and colorful, and the animation is crisp. It's fluid, especially during its action sequences. The action scenes alone makes the anime worth a look. It's so freaking stunning to watch. It's fast-paced, it's energetic, it's creative, it's exciting, and it's just a whole lot of fun. Just seeing the various fights among characters, the various weapons, the various techniques and styles. I mean, it's just visual eye candy. Again, say what you want, but A1 Pictures truly delivered with the animation for this anime. Next, we have the story. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was genuinely surprised at how the story was handled and what directions the story took. I did not expect the story to be as complex as it was. I thought it was just going to be your generic average story following a generic average guy who faces generic average villains and has the generic average love interest, and they go through all their trials and tribulations, the same beats and stories that we've seen, yada yada yada, they all live happily ever after type story. And for the first few episodes, that's the exact vibe I got from the anime. But after about episodes 4 or 5, I started feeling a different vibe from the anime. I started noticing that there was a whole political intrigue and social intrigue to the story. A lot of hidden agendas going on, a lot of internal conflicts among the academies. Everyone had their own agendas, they had their own paths they wanted to take. And I'm not gonna lie, that made the story even more enthralling for me, and I couldn't take my eyes away from it. I wanted to know what was going on behind the scenes, what's actually happening, what direction is this story heading. Not to mention the anime also handled a majority of the personal stories very well. But if there's one complaint I can make about the story, because there is so much going on both publicly and secretly, it's really hard to focus and follow everything that is happening in the anime. There were some parts where I was pretty lost about what was going on and who was doing what. I'm like, okay, could you give me a little bit more clarification, because we haven't really touched on this topic for about 8 episodes, so could you refresh my memory? What's going on over here? That did get a bit annoying from time to time, but overall the story is solid. And finally, we have the characters. They are just as intriguing as the story itself, especially the ones that we don't get to see that often and we barely know much about. Many of the characters are well developed, have solid and fleshed out backstories, have clear character motivations, and most importantly, are fun and likable. The main character Ayato, though he is way too OP, more on that in a second, is still interesting enough for the audience to care for. He's not bland and stoic as I expected him to be. He actually has quite a decent personality. He has an interesting backstory. He is very well developed, and he does have genuine chemistry with the various girls throughout this anime, especially with Julisse. In fact, if there's one thing that I absolutely loved about this anime, is that they actually displayed in its entirety the teamwork of Ayato and Julisse, and it was beautiful to see. Rarely do I ever see an anime that is supposed to be about teamwork actually display teamwork and do it in flying colors. Their teamwork is undeniable and it's very dynamic. I loved seeing all the scenes where they're in battles and they're cooperating with each other, planning things out, strategizing. It was freaking awesome. A+ for you, anime, for actually getting that right. As for the girl characters, they're pretty much your basic anime archetypes. The tsundere, the kudere, the dandere, the childhood best friend, the overly sexual touchy-feely girl. I mean, you name it, this anime probably has it. Are they cliche? Yes. Have they been done before? Yes. Are they still likable, enjoyable, entertaining, and relatable? Yes. I still really like these girls, although I've seen these archetypes before. Their personalities are still solid. I like them, and they actually form some genuine bonds and connections among each other. The strongest one out of all of them is the one shared with Saya and Kieran. I like their relationship. I like that they bonded very well and they worked very well as a team as well. But guys, I guess it's time to address the elephant in the room. All the problems that I had with the Asterisk Wars. And trust me, I have quite a few. Now, I could be wrong about this, but I feel like one of the major reasons as to why people hate this anime so much and why they voted for it for Bullshit Month was because of its first season. And I won't deny there were many parts and many episodes in the first season that was pretty by the numbers and very lackluster, especially episodes 1 through 5. My goodness, have we not seen this type of story done before and done better? I mean, shit, you might as well just have your BCG cliche handbook ready while you're watching season 1. Now, granted, the series does improve as it goes along. I personally felt like the second half of the first season is way better and more stronger than the first half of the first season, and the second season was solid all around. But I cannot ignore the cliche and mundane nature of some of these episodes and some of these moments, and I feel like that really just turned a lot of people off to this anime, just seeing the same type of characters, the same type of scenarios, and the same type of plot lines. But personally, my biggest issue with this anime deals with the main character, Ayato. Yes, he's interesting. Yes, he's likable. Yes, he's well developed and has some good bonds and chemistry with various girls in the anime. But the biggest flaw with this character ironically deals with his strength and power, which is nearly flawless. nearly flawless. The character suffers from the Tatsuya effect. You know Tatsuya from the Irregular at Magic High School, a main character so powerful that nothing, absolutely nothing poses a threat to this character. And because nothing really poses a threat to him and he can't be in any sort of danger, there's no sense of threat. There's no sense of tension in any of the action scenes that the character gets into because you already know what the outcome's gonna be like. The character's going to escape and he's going to win. Now there is only one moment in the entire anime where I actually felt like the character was actually in danger. Only one moment, but they did a whole Deus Ex Machina to save the character. But that one moment does not change the fact that the character is still overpowered throughout the entirety of this series. Even when it seemed like he was down on the ropes and it looked like things were looking bleak, he's like, oh no, let me just close my eyes for a minute and unlock the power within me. Oh, I'm a badass again. I'm like, See, the problem with OP characters like that is that they make the anime way too predictable. You already know what's going to happen, so why should you even be invested in what's going on? Why should you even care about the action that's unfolding in front of you? You know the outcome already. So audience become less invested. They become less interested in not only the character, but also the story, and that hurts an anime. Another major issue that plagues this anime, and you're gonna be completely shocked when you hear me say this, but it was the romance elements. Oh my god, not only were they completely cliche, but they were pointless to the story. What do they add to the story and to the characters? In fact, they were so unnecessary that the romance elements literally brings the story to a screeching halt. Like, something is happening in the story, we're furthering the plot, we're furthering the characters, all of a sudden we have to stop because we need to have this really funny rom-com bit where the characters are fighting and bickering over the main character Ayato, like, no, he's mine. No, he's mine. No, he's mine. We bring the story to a halt, and I'm just like, why did you stop the story for this? We need to continue the story, guys. Throughout the entirety of this anime, I can only think of one romantic moment that actually furthered the characters and furthered the story, and it happened in season 1. After that, there were no other romantic moments that actually furthered the characters or furthered the plot. Just brought it to a halt. And speaking of pointless, there was this whole entire subplot in the second season dealing with one of the characters' friends from back home getting kidnapped that was incredibly superfluous to the plot. I actually sat and thought about this subplot really hard, and I asked myself, was this subplot entirely necessary for the characters and for the story? And the answer I came up with was no, not really. I mean, there are some small elements here and there that was kind of vital to the plot, but honestly, it deserved to be in a better subplot because the entire reason that this subplot exists was to cripple the main characters from doing this one thing that would help them win a battle. But the thing is, they still ended up doing it. So really, what was the point of having that? And even if that character was still kidnapped and they weren't able to use that one thing, I personally feel like they still would have won because of who was part of that team. No matter what that character used, he still would have won. And the last issue I had with this anime was that the ending to the second season was incredibly rushed and it leaves you hanging with so many questions still left unanswered. Hell, the last episode introduces 2 or 3 new characters, one of which you get introduced in the very last minutes of the episode. I was like, what the hell? You introduce a new character and don't really tell us much about this character? That's pretty messed up. That's not the only thing that's rushed. There's many plot lines that were incredibly rushed in the last episode. They bring up new plot points and a lot of things are left unaddressed. Like, what is the next step? What's gonna happen next? What are these characters planning? What's happening in the story? Now granted, the story is not yet complete, but you gotta at least give us some resolution to the story that's currently happening, and then you could continue on to the next season. And they sort of do that, but they also leave questions that they could have answered by the very end unanswered, and that was just upsetting. So overall, guys, where do I stand with the Asterisk War? I enjoyed it. I personally don't see why people hate this anime so much. Yes, it has its problems. Yes, it can be a bit generic and by the numbers from time to time, but it's still a well put together story, has some really fun and interesting characters, and the animation and action scenes are worth a watch itself. Like, they are just fantastic. So I don't really see why people hate this anime so much. I can understand if you still hate this anime after watching this review, but for me personally, I found a lot of enjoyment with it, and I can't wait to see what the third season will bring. Hopefully we'll get to explore more of these story elements, and I'm going to give this anime a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I think that it is an enjoyable anime. Wow guys, I am pleasantly surprised. Only 2 weeks into bullshit month, and already I've reviewed an anime that didn't make me want to gouge my eyes and pull my hair out. Good job there, guys. Good recommendation. Although I'm a little upset because, you know, this is bullshit month. I'm supposed to be getting angry and ranting all the time. I can't watch a good, decent anime. Give me some shit. And sure enough, I do have a bunch of other shit to get to. But as always, I'm not the end-all be-all opinion when it comes to the Asterisk War. I'm sure there are still plenty of you out there that don't understand why I like this anime and purely hate it. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is gonna be my Akamega kill of the year. Like, I'm gonna get just an uneven number of likes to dislikes. I'm very curious to see what the reaction and response to this video is going to be like. And I'm sure many of you might agree with my opinions and feel like, yes, finally somebody sees it the way I see it. So I would love to know where you guys stand in the whole Asterisk War debate. Comment below, let me know, and tell me, what is an anime that pleasantly surprised you? Like, you were going in gonna hate this anime, but it actually turned out to be pretty decent. You didn't hate it as much as you thought it was gonna be. So comment below, let me know. Stay tuned. Tomorrow I will be doing another Puke Cinema with a very special guest joining me, and it's gonna be a little later because I'm waiting for him to get off of work, and then we're gonna do the video. It's gonna be a very special one. You're gonna enjoy it. And probably on Thursday you might have another anime review, considering if I can get it done or not. But until then, guys, if you would love to see more videos on this channel and be a part of the Black Critic crew, please hit that subscribe button below. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. I'm telling you what in a second, the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube. Now, what's next on the docket? Why, you sick, sadistic, cold-hearted mother...